It was one of those evenings where the sky looked like it had been brushed with tired shades of orange and purple, where the hum of life in a small town began to quiet but never truly faded, where people hurried along sidewalks, thinking of warm dinners waiting at home, of tired bodies ready to rest, of laughter and comfort waiting behind familiar doors. Yet not everyone had such a place to return to, and not everyone carried lightness in their hearts as they walked beneath the fading glow of the street lamps. Daniel Matthews, a man in his mid-30s with broad shoulders softened by the gentleness of fatherhood, carried a canvas tote bag of children's books in one hand and held the smaller, fragile hand of his daughter Emily in the other, his steps slow to match her tiny ones as they left the town library, their favorite Saturday ritual. The air filled with Emily's chatter about the fairy tale she wanted him to read before bedtime, her bright eyes shining in the half-light, but her laughter suddenly softened into silence as she tugged at his sleeve, pulling his attention away from his thoughts, and her small voice, quivering with innocent concern, whispered, "Daddy, look," and he followed her gaze across the street to where, on a lonely park bench beneath the pale glow of a flickering lamp, a young woman sat hunched in on herself, her arms wrapped tightly around her frame as though shielding herself from a cold only she could feel, her hair falling in messy strands around her face, her shoulders trembling with sobs that seemed far too raw, too heavy for someone so young, and Daniel felt the moment still, his own heart pressing painfully against his ribs, because there was something unbearably fragile about the sight of her, something that made him hesitate, torn between the instinct to protect his daughter from the messy vulnerability of strangers and the tug of compassion that Emily's tender eyes mirrored back at him, and then Emily's words came again. Soft yet piercing in their simplicity, "She's crying, all alone," and in her voice was not pity but an ache, a plea for him to act, for him to show her that the world did not ignore pain when it was inconvenient, that kindness was not reserved only for those we knew, and Daniel realized in that instant that this was one of those moments that shaped a child's understanding of the world, one of those times where his actions would teach louder than any lecture, and though his instinct urged caution, his conscience urged something else, something deeper, so he sighed, brushed a stray lock of hair from Emily's forehead, and said quietly, "All right, sweetheart. Let's go see if she's okay," and together they crossed the street, Emily's small steps quick with urgency, Daniel's slower with the weight of uncertainty, until they stood before the bench, and only then did the woman lift her head, startled by the sound of approaching footsteps, her eyes red and swollen, her cheeks damp, her lips parted as though